for the month of July. So we're just going to be reading new releases for the rest of July. We literally probably only have like 8 days left of the month. I forgot to take one of my pills. Just give me a second. Sorry. So I am actually currently reading 2 new releases. But I'm going to tell you guys which ones they are before I tell you what I think of them. So the 5 new releases that so we're going to be reading 5 new releases in this video. I know that's a lot, but I actually read 2 new releases at the beginning of this month, and I actually got the ARCs for both of them, which I'm so incredibly grateful that I did. I read A Witch's Guide to Magical Innkeeping by Sangu Mandana and Made for Each Other by Lynn Painter, so I was able to read both of those before they came out. And then we've had a couple new releases come out at the end of July, and I'm really glad that June and July were not as crazy with new releases coming out as May was, and like the next couple of months are not like insane for new releases. I think there's more so new releases, a lot more new releases in like September, October, and November, but ones that I'm like really highly anticipating. So, but we did have quite a few new releases come out at the end of this month. So the one that I'm currently reading is Not Quite Dead Yet by Holly Jackson. This is her brand new thriller release. This is her first adult new release. So I'm in the middle of that one, but I'll talk about it in a minute. And then the other one that I am listening to is the 3rd book in the 5 Broken Blades series, which is 3 Shattered Souls by May Corland. And this is actually the last book in the trilogy, so I'm 49% of the way through, so we'll talk about that one as well. But I figured I would just listen to that as an audiobook because it has so many good voices in it, and it just makes more sense for me to listen to it. I really didn't want to pay for another book on my Kindle because I paid for Not Quite Dead Yet. So I didn't want to like purchase another one because it was a new release. And also this one was not available on Kindle Unlimited for some reason when the first 2 books are. Like the second book, Four Ruined Realms, which was like my most disappointing sequel that I read this year, was available on Kindle Unlimited before it even came out. Like it was saying it was going to be available on there because usually they will tell you whether or not it's going to be before it even releases. So I'm just surprised that this one wasn't, but that's fine. But one that I am going to be reading on Kindle Unlimited this weekend, I'll bring it up really quick because this one came out before the next one that I'm going to talk about, and then the last one comes out after all of these. And this one is available, like I said, on Kindle Unlimited, and it's Jessa Hastings' new release, which is Time of Your Life. I'm going to be reading that on my Kindle as well. Actually, I think it came out the same day as the other book that I'm going to be reading, so that's perfect. So I really wanted to read this one because this one's supposed to be a pretty short book. It's only like 300 something pages. And since I'm going to be starting my Apple training this weekend, I think this would be absolutely perfect for me to read on the train back and forth from the city. So I felt like this would be like a perfect quick read for me before my Apple training starts. And then the only one that I own physically right now, I am going to be buying the other one that comes out next week. This one is the Enchanted Greenhouse by Sarah Beth Durst. I'm so excited to read this one. I'm going to be reading this one right after I finish Not Quite Dead Yet. I absolutely adored The Spell Shop. So this is actually the sequel to The Spell Shop. I love the like mint green sprayed edges. It goes with my, if you don't like feet, sorry, but it goes with my toenails. I just realized that because I got like this mint green color on my toenails. So excited for this. I absolutely love the covers of these. They're just so gorgeous and super excited to read this one. I absolutely loved The Spell Shop. I gave that a 5 stars. Oh, it's just such a wonderful book. And I didn't realize that it was coming out earlier in the year. Oh, before I talk about the rest of the books, I thought that this book was coming out later this year, but it literally just came out like 6 days ago or something. And I was like, I didn't even know it was coming out, so I didn't even mention it in my TBR. Why do I keep on covering the title? I didn't even mention it in my TBR video of the new releases that I was excited to read and like talk about it as a new release in general, because I always try to talk about as many new releases in my TBR videos as possible. And sorry, my friends are texting me. Yeah, I had no idea it was coming out in July, so very excited to read it. I don't know why that I brain farted, literally just saying something so simple, but it's fine. And then the last book, I'm hoping to get my hands on this physically, but I don't even have any room to put it anywhere. But I absolutely loved the first book of this one, so this is also continuing a series. And I'm also finishing a series with Three Shattered Souls, and then I'm continuing a series with The Enchanted Greenhouse. So I could have technically done a continuing series I'm in the middle of, but I wanted to do a new releases because I haven't done a new release video in a little while. So this one I'm so excited for. This is one of my most anticipated reads of the year, and that is Wrath of the Dragons by Olivia Rose Darling. Words, Caitlin. So excited for this one. I read Fear the Flames back in November, so I'm so ready for some dragons because I haven't read a dragon book in a hot second, and I have a couple on my TBR in July and August, so I'm very excited to read this one. I cannot wait. It's literally coming out at the perfect time, and this is the only book I'm going to be so sat reading the last 3 days of the month because you best believe I'm going to be reading this when it comes out. So I should be done with Not Quite Dead Yet, Three Shattered. I should be done with all the books that I just mentioned to read this one when it comes out on the 29th. So very excited. So let's talk about Not Quite Dead Yet first. So I'm on page 131. I'm 36% of the way through. I started it yesterday after the beach. Well, actually, I started it before the beach because I got the audiobook on Everand, so I've been listening to it and reading it. Now I've just been really reading it today and last night. So far, I'm really, really liking it. Holly Jackson's concepts are just so unique when it comes to like the thriller murder mystery genre. I don't know how she comes up with these concepts because they're literally just so, I don't want to say genius again, but honestly they are, because like I really have not read thriller concepts quite like Holly Jackson's, because there's like just a twist within a twist, because we haven't even found, like, it might be a little bit obvious and a little bit predictable on some of the things that are going on in this book, but also the unique concept of what she came up with for the victim is crazy. And like, I've never read anything like this before. So basically it's about a girl named Jet, and she is trying to solve not just her own murder, and she keeps on saying like, you know, I was killed that night because she was attacked on like a night a couple days before, and now she's trying to solve her own murder, meaning because the killer or the attempted murderer injured her so badly that she has this horrible brain injury that she only has a week to live now. So she wants to spend all of her remaining time finding out who killed her. And I'm just like, that is so amazing. Like, how does she even think of these things? And basically, she already knows that she's written her own death sentence, and basically, like, her parents are trying to tell her, like, no, you have to have the surgery, and you have to, what are you doing, and blah, blah, blah. She's like, it's my life, and also, like, I'm not gonna be around much longer, so what's the point? And also, she's, like, been doing all these crazy things, like, trying to solve her own murder. She's like, well, I might as well just stroll down the bridge at night, because who cares, because I'm going to be dead in a week anyway. Like, it's, like, stuff like that that's, like, crazy, but also, like, you can't help but think about it because, like, again, once you're faced with your own mortality, it's like, what's the point? Like, you could just do whatever you want at that point. So basically, like, one of her best friends just agrees to help her, like, solve her murder. So so far it's just been really, really good. It is reading a little YA though, even though this is Holly Jackson's first adult thriller ever. And I've actually read all of Holly Jackson's books except for Five Survive, because I heard that one is not very good. But I might just read that like during Halloween, just so I can read her entire backlist, because I'm so close to finishing all of her books and I'm reading her brand new release. So this one I did read on release day because it came out yesterday. So I started it yesterday and I started reading it yesterday. So the rest of them I just started like after release day, but I was finishing up some other books that I was already reading. And then I just planned just to read new releases at the end of the month anyway. So I think that was a good plan. Also, I feel like if I'm reading new releases now, I won't fall into a reading slump because, like, again, I just get a little bit slower reading at the end of the month. And again, since I'm going to start training soon, I want to read books that I'm really excited for. So I don't not want to read, you know, because I'm going to be so busy this weekend. So I have like a couple of hours before work today to read more of Not Quite Dead Yet. And then tomorrow I finally have a day to myself because yesterday I was with my friends at the beach and we had such a great time. That was the first time I made it to the beach this summer, finally. So I was like, I would have been really upset if I didn't make it to the beach before I started working a lot. I would have been really upset. I missed like tasting the beach air and just breathing in the beach air. So it was just such a great day. It was such a great day with my friends. So anyway, what else was I gonna say? So yeah, it's just been really good so far. But that people have been saying about this book is that it does still read YA, and I have to agree with them. But that doesn't mean it's bad. It's still really good. It's Holly Jackson. I love her writing. So been having a great time with it. And then Three Shattered Souls is again the third and final book in the Five Broken Blades trilogy. I'm tired, y'all. I'm tired. I went to bed so late, even though I was literally exhausted from the beach. And then for some reason, I just tried to stay up and watch YouTube. And then I was like literally falling asleep as soon as I tried to put the video on. I edited a video, but then as soon as I tried to start watching YouTube, I was passing out because I was just so tired. But then, of course, I didn't fall asleep after I tried to go to bed because I was in bed until like 3 a.m. Then I finally got up and took my ass to bed, but it was too late by then. I don't know why I stayed up so late. So anyway, this one I am enjoying a lot more than Four Ruined Realms. Four Ruined Realms was just so beyond boring. This one has already had like a couple of murders happen and the assassins have actually, killed a couple of people, but it's still a very slow burn build-up. And I feel like it's still taking too much time to actually, build up to the actual battle. Because I feel like that's all we're building up to within the 3 books. I still feel like the first book in the series was the best, Five Broken Blades. And also it's the most popular for a reason. Because it is the best book in the series, in my opinion. The second book was such filler and it was so fucking boring. I just really didn't like that book. But this one I am enjoying a lot more because I think this one's a lot funnier. I've been laughing quite a bit listening to this audiobook. I think there's some really funny lines that have been happening. So at least I'm not bored. But I do think there's not enough happening in order for this book series to really be like one of my favorites. I just wanted to finish it. But also since it's a new release, I wanted to. But I also, again, I just wanted to finish the series. So it wasn't like where with like This Woven Kingdom, I'm not sure if I'm going to read the 4th book in the series because I really didn't like that series and I feel like there's no point. But also, like, since it's just a trilogy, it's just easier to finish. And since I got it as an audiobook, I feel like I'm having a better time. But I feel like even if I got the second book as an audiobook, I still would have been bored because I don't think it was as funny at all as opposed to this one. Again, I think this one's pretty funny. So, but I do think we've had more story progression with the characters in this book than we did in the second book. Because again, the second book, we only had something happen in the last 20 pages. And what's funny is that I did read that in a new releases video in January. That was my first new releases video of the year, obviously, in January. So it's funny because she had book 2 come out in January and book 3 come out in July. But what's crazy is that I feel like this book is not written in like a rushed kind of way as opposed to the second one. Even though they both came out this year, maybe she had a little bit more time to write the third book, maybe. But I also feel like she was very pressured by publishers to release both books in one year. It was kind of like a Fourth Wing situation where Iron Flame was released like 7 or 8 months after Fourth Wing was released, and then we didn't get Onyx Storm until January of 2025. So the fact that she had 2 books come out in the same series in the same year, you can kind of tell with the writing of the second one. So anyway, so far it's been fun. It's about 5 assassins, and we get all of their different perspectives each chapter. But I also feel like the chapters aren't as short in this one, and I feel like we're getting good story progression and character development with the characters. But I'm just excited for the battle to happen. I'm sure that's going to be good because she does write action really well. And then the one we're going to be reading right after we finish Not Quite Dead Yet is The Enchanted Greenhouse. I haven't even read the synopsis. I'll just read the blurb on the back. It says, outside, the snow was crisp white in the morning sun. A cardinal was perched on a branch on a nearby pine tree, a brilliant red against the white and the green. Inside, the only sounds were the swish of water, the crackle of the fire, and the purr of the winged cat. It was perfectly peaceful, and Terlu had never felt more at home anywhere. I've been seeing some really good reviews for this one, so I'm very excited for it. There's nothing else really. I mean, maybe I should read a little bit of the synopsis. It says, elsewhere in the Empire, on a remote island brimming with singing flowers, honey cakes, and honeyed love, Terlu Perna broke the law because she was lonely. She cast a spell and created a magically sentient spider plant. As punishment, she was turned into a wooden statue and tucked away in an alcove in the north reading room on the great library of Elysium. This should have been the end of her story, yet one day Terlu wakes in the cold of winter on a nearly deserted island full of hundreds of magical greenhouses. She's starving and freezing, and the only other human to help her on the island is a grumpy gardener. To her surprise, he offers Terlu a place to sleep, clean clothes, and freshly baked honey cakes, at least until she's ready to sail home. But Terlu doesn't want to go home. As she grows closer with the unwittingly charming gardener, Yarrow, she learns the magic that sustains the greenhouses is failing, causing the death of everything within them. Terlu knows she must help, even if that means breaking the law again. This time, though, she isn't alone. Assisted by Yarrow and a sentient rose, Terlu must unravel the secrets of a long-dead sorcerer if she wants to save the island and have a fresh chance at happiness and love. I just decided to read the whole synopsis. It sounds so good. It's so adorable. I can't with these books. They're so cute. So I'm so excited to read that one. And then, like I said, the last one, I'm not reading the synopsis of this one because I'm going into it completely blind, but Wrath of the Dragons, I'm so excited for it. I'm not even going to say anything else about it because I'm so excited. I just love the banter of the first one and the characters, and I love the way that they the way that they fought with each other, and the way that they were so had the hots for each other when they would fight each other in the first book, and I just think it's hysterical. So I cannot wait for it. It was love that book so much. So I'm gonna shut up now because this has been almost a 20-minute intro. So I will check in with you guys probably when I'm finished with Not Quite Dead Yet. I'm probably not going to check in until then because, again, I can never shut up. So, bye. Hey there, guys. So, wanted to let you guys know Did this book finish me, or did I finish the book? Because I just finished Not Quite Dead Yet by Holly Jackson. Holy crap, this book was sad. It was so sad at the end. I mean, I kept on seeing that people were saying that they were crying their eyes out towards the end of the book. And I had a feeling it was, I mean, I knew I was already gonna cry because people said that they did. But I was like, maybe I won't. But then the last like 30 or 40 pages really got me, and I cried a couple of times. But this was such a tragic story, honestly. Like, there's just so many sad things that happen at the end of this book. I just love her storytelling though, because there's so many like layers to her plots and her murder mystery plots that they might seem a little bit obvious, but also like it doesn't make the impact any less like tragic. And that's what I love about her books, even though again, like I did kind of predict who it was going to be. It didn't affect like the emotional impact that it had on me any less. And that's why I think she's an amazing writer, because sometimes there can be predictable thrillers and plots that are just like stupid. Hers are always like, they make so much sense, even though you're piecing it together with Holly. And then like at the end of this book, I read the first page of the acknowledgments, and she like knows like how good her writing is, that like she knows that you're just gonna be crying. And it literally says at the end of the book, in the first line of her acknowledgments, "Hey, sorry reader, I know that was hard." And I was like, Holly. And then she thanks the reader about, you know, being along for this emotional journey, because I was like, girl, why'd you rip our hearts out? So yeah, I really can't say much about this, but I am going to rate it a 4.5. It was very close to being a 5-star, but it was just because it was just so sad. Like, even though like I know that this kind of thing could happen, it was just so tragic. Like, I was hoping for something a little bit happier to happen at the end, but also like my favorite book from her is still The Reappearance of Rebel Price. I love that book. But also I didn't give it a 5-star because it didn't creep me out whatsoever. But I still really, really loved it. So, it's still a great start to this video. Still very high rating. I'm also still in the middle of Three Shattered Stools by May Corlin. I only listened to like a couple more chapters last night because I was also listening to the audiobook of Not Quite Dead Yet. But I just finished it completely on my Kindle this afternoon because I wanted to finish it before I went out and like got some stuff done for starting my first day at Apple tomorrow. I have to go get my nails done. Oh my god, so like important. And I want to get my eyebrows waxed, and then I'm gonna spend the rest of the time at Barnes because I really just want to sit in Barnes and read. Felicia might stop by and say hi to me, but I need to go get my nails done before it gets any later in the day. I'm just waiting for some laundry to be done which is going to be done in like 5 minutes. So next up, I'm going to be starting the Enchanted Greenhouse. I'm going to start this at Barnes, but also when I get my nails done, I'm going to start Time of Your Life by Jessa Hastings. So at least I can be reading that. And then because I don't read a physical book while I'm getting my nails done, it's just like too messy. It's so much easier just to bring my Kindle. So yeah, I'm just going to bring that to Barnes and I'm going to get dressed, and that's about it. So I will check in with you guys hopefully when I'm halfway through, because I should have quite a bit of reading time tomorrow afternoon after orientation, because I'm only at the store until 2:30. So yeah, I'm very excited to start my first day. I posted on Facebook and I'm getting a lot of, you know, congratulations and everything. People have just been so sweet. It's like I said, it's a little bit bizarre. I mean, a little bit surreal, but I'm just happy that I'm starting something new in my life. So yeah, that's about it. I'm gonna go and I will check in later. Bye. When I'm further into this book. So yeah, bye. Okay, so hey there guys. I wanted to give you guys an update on where I'm at. Hold on. I don't know why this brightness is so low. On where I'm at in The Enchanted Greenhouse by Sarah Beth Durst. I actually got a decent amount read today because this book reads so quickly. It's only 372 pages, so I'm kind of glad that this was the physical book that I ended up picking. So I'm on page 104. I read like 90 pages of this physically today, so that's pretty good. I read like 25 pages at Barnes & Noble because my book bestie Felicia met me there for a little while, which was great because that's literally the only, like I said, that was like the only person I wanted to see today. And just, if I was able to talk about books, that was great because literally like my brain did not have any more brain power to talk to anyone like besides books, about anything besides books, because like you guys know, obviously it's my favorite thing ever. So yeah, I'm on page 104 of this. I also started Time of Your Life by Jessa Hastings on my Kindle, so I think I'm gonna do like a reading 2 books at the same time kind of thing. But also Time of Your Life is gonna be my train read when I do my city training this weekend. But also I wanted to read it at the nail salon today because, like I said, I don't read physical books. I also got my nails done. Super pretty, like, not wow, can I speak? Periwinkle kind of blue, but like, it's like kind of deeper than that. It's so pretty. I love it. I was trying to get like a color that was like close to like the apple kind of blue, like the fur shirts that they used to wear, but my mom was like, it's not really close to that color. So whatever. Anyway, this book, like I said, when I read the synopsis before, this book is about Terlu. Can I fucking talk? I am so tired, you guys. I literally was sat on my bed, read 10 minutes of this. Yes, 10 minutes. It felt like only reading 10 minutes. I only read 10 pages. And then I started falling asleep, but then I woke myself up and I read another like 20 something pages. So I got it to page 104. I read a little bit in Aaliyah's reading sprints earlier. She's like my favorite TikToker that I watch her reading sprints a lot, and I hadn't been able to make one of her other reading sprints earlier in the week this week, so I wanted to make sure I made her reading sprints tonight and at least was able to make it through one full reading sprint, because the first 2 I wasn't able to really stay that long because dinner was ready, but I was able to make the third one. So anyway, so I read a decent amount in that sprint. I think I read like 30 or 40 pages in that sprint, so that wasn't that bad. Sorry, Felicia is texting me. Oh my god, hold on. Jesus Christ. Sorry. She was just telling me about what she thought about my August TBR because I sent her the list. So anyway, I'm rambling so much. I don't think this one is as good as the first one. I feel like it's kind of having like a bit of a more repetitive, it's kind of having a repetitive plot of the first one, but I feel like the first one, we were having like so much more action already, like in the first chapter or 2, and it was a lot more interesting because the main character in the first book like was escaping the island that she used to live on, because this one is kind of a bit similar, but she's already like alone. So like it's not as like charming as the first one, because in the first one I loved the talking Venus flytrap. I just thought that was so funny. There is a talking flower in this. There is a talking rose. And also the flying cat is really, really cute too. But basically the concept of this is that it's pretty similar to the first book, where the magic of the greenhouses, because these greenhouses obviously preserve like the plants, like because this island is like in a, I believe it's in an eternal winter. I could be mistaken, but right now it is winter, and I think it's been winter for a while. So they're trying to like save the plants. And again, that's kind of similar to what the first book was. Because in that one, like the magic was dying, and also the animals were suffering, and were like getting more angry and unwell while the magic of the island was dying. But again, I just felt the romance and the main character's story a lot more in the first one than I did this one. Not to say that this isn't still really cute and it's entertaining, and I really love her writing still. I think her writing is adorable. It just, I don't feel as connected to this one as I did with the first one, but I'm still having a great time. I think this is exactly what I needed to read right now. And again, this one's so short, so I'm glad I decided to pick this over reading The Night Circus. I don't think I could have handled reading that book right now. This one was definitely the one I was more so in the mood for. I might include another new release in this video though, because I did pick up this new release as well, and I might read this in the first week of August. Because I've been seeing a lot of hype about this one. And honestly, I picked up this one. I was thinking about picking it up like a couple of weeks ago, but the real reason why I picked this one up today is because, well, the real reason I got pushed to pick this up today is because Monica Fortner, my good friend on YouTube, we talk all the time about what books we're reading next. She just raved about finishing this book, and she said this was her favorite book of the entire year so far, over Fearless by Lauren Roberts. And Powerless, the Powerless trilogy by Lauren Roberts is like her Roman Empire series. It's not my Roman Empire series, but it's hers. My Roman Empire is Throne of Glass and Boys of Talmud. But anyway, I picked up Rose in Chains by Julie Soto, and I might read this like the first week of August because this one is getting a lot of hype right now. And I might potentially buddy read this with one of my friends. I don't know, because she just picked up this book as well like a couple days ago. But she's a lot slower with me, or she's like more so a mood reader, and I don't know if she's going to be in the mood to read this, but also I think it'd be really fun to mood read it with her. So I might include this one. This one isn't really that as long as I thought, but I think it would take me like a few days to read. But I feel like I would have to move this up on my TBR in order to post this video in like any sort of like good time frame. Like this one might take me a few days, and also I feel like the first week of August I'm going to really want to mood read my TBR because I don't know what well, I'm going to have a couple of days off still. Like I'm only working 3 days the first week of August, so it's not like too bad. I probably would be able to read this, but yeah, I'm not going to be able to read it until the first week of August because, like I said, I have to finish Enchanted Greenhouse, read Time of Your Life, and then Wrath of the Dragon. So that is the TBR for the rest of July. So, because we only have 7 more days in the month, and those are the only books I'm going to be having time to finish. So yeah, we'll see if I'm able to include this one. If not, I will just read this when I can in August, but I think I'm definitely adding this to my August TBR because I want to read this sooner rather than later, and also it's so gorgeous. Like, come on. So I think I'm definitely going to read this in August. So yeah, that is it. I'm going to go. Bye. And I will let you guys know when I get further into Enchanted Greenhouse and Time of Your Life. So bye. Okay, so hey there guys. I wanted to give you guys a reading update on where I'm at in the Enchanted Greenhouse by Sarah Beth Durst and also Time of Your Life by Jessa Hastings. I actually finished the Enchanted Greenhouse Friday night, but literally did not have time to make a check-in until now because, like I told you guys, I had Apple training this whole weekend in the city. Oh my god, I'm so tired, but it was just such an amazing experience, to be honest. It was great. So, very tired though. Oh my god. So yeah, this was really cute. And I finished it in like 2 days. So, still kept up my reading. the past couple of days. I thought this was cute. I'm giving it a 4 star. I did not love it as much as the first one, but honestly, this was just such a cute, cozy little read that I would still recommend this to like anyone that's looking for a cozy fantasy, because I think her books are cute but not boring. It's not like Encyclopedia of Fairies where I literally like I just did not care about the characters in that book. And also like even though this story felt a little bit repetitive of the first one, and like I said before, I feel like the first one we had a little bit more of a higher stakes. Even though it was a cozy fantasy, I feel like for a cozy fantasy it had some stakes in it. And this had a little bit of stakes, but honestly like I just didn't really connect with the story as much. But it was still adorable. There's not really that much more to say about it. They just needed to save the plants in the greenhouse and then make it spring again, and that was about it. There was this later plot later on in the book where these other refugees from like other lands had to come to the island because they didn't have anywhere else to go. And basically she is a refugee that's like staying on the island because she it's kind of the same as like the first book where she committed a crime and she has to escape. So but yeah, I loved the tulip in this. I thought she was adorable, or a rose or something. But again, it felt a little bit repetitive compared to like the Venus flytrap in the first book. But I love how we got a little bit of background on Terelu literally creating the Venus flytrap. And I really liked her as a character, and I thought the romance was just so adorable. They did like these little things like, the main male character, I don't know why I can't remember his name right now. Like he has a little bit of childhood trauma from his parents, and I actually really appreciated this representation because I feel like I haven't read that much about abandonment. And of course, like if that's triggering for you, just check your trigger warnings, because even though it's a fantasy book, you can still get easily triggered by some of these things. But he actually got trapped in a cave when he was a little kid, and his parents were just like, oh, we were just trying to make him stronger. Like, it's just a test that he has to pass, it's a rite of passage. But it, like, literally, like, damaged him as a kid. And then him and her have to go back into this cave for, I think, to discover, like, another spell to, like, help them discover the magic to save the plants. And they're both like, are you scared? Like, and she keeps on checking on him to make sure he's not scared. And I was like, it's not going in alone, it's just really dark. And he was like, well, I guess we just have to hold hands then. And I was like, oh my god, that's so cute. So yeah, it was really adorable. So I gave it a 4 stars. Nothing really too amazing, but I thought it was just the right cup of tea for me to read before the apple training. And then with Time of Your Life, I actually got a pretty decent amount into this. I'm 75% of the way through. I'm on page 245. And like I said, this is Jessa Hastings' new release. This is the cover. But since it's on Kindle Unlimited, I've just been reading on Kindle Unlimited. And basically it's about the two main characters are Isolde and Joa. And basically it's kind of very similar to Magnolia Parks. I feel like even though her characters and these stories are taking place in different worlds, I mean, actually, like, they're kind of all interconnected at this point because they all take place in London, and people think The Conditions of Will and Time of Your Life are kind of taking place in canon as to the events of Magnolia Parks. Like, I think she mentioned someone by the name of Parks in this. I can't remember their first name, though. I have to look it up again. And it said that they're, like, a great supermodel. And I'm like, is that, like, one of Magnolia's cousins or relatives or something? I thought that was really cool. but I haven't seen any other references yet, but I'll probably look it up after I'm done reading it because sometimes like it can get a little spoilery. But I do feel connected to their romance in this. Her writing is just, it flows so well, and but also I'm never gonna be connected as much as I was to Magnolia and BJ. Like, I'm always gonna compare every book that she writes to Magnolia and BJ's romance because I am a diehard Magnolia Parks and BJ fan. Um, I wasn't really a fan of the Daisy Hates books, but I'm glad that I decided to read this over the weekend as my Kindle read for the train. But also, like, I didn't sleep last night because I got sick from the food that I ate. So, yeah, so far I'm really enjoying it. I feel like my brain is fried though. Basically, Joa struggles with a drug problem, and Isolde is a model, but Joa is a rock star pretty much. She's like the biggest rock star on the planet right now, and they decide to, start dating, and they kind of have like a whirlwind kind of romance. And Joa's a very damaged person, and so is Isolde, but with Jessa Hastings, she loves her, flawed, toxic characters. So, but it's kind of similar to Magnolia and BJ's dynamic because, but I actually think Isolde is even more down to earth than Magnolia, because with Magnolia, like, she's very, like, the world revolves around me kind of thing. And in this, Isolde is, like, very humble, even though she is a model. Her mother actually died of a drug overdose when she was a kid. And, she has a sister and a father. And her mother actually was a supermodel. So her father kind of, thinks that since she's a supermodel now that's going to happen to her, and he's like never really approved of her career and everything, which is messed up. But modeling's a very hard career in general. It's not for everybody. It's very, very hard. So but yeah, they just develop a romance, and it's kind of like, them trying to navigate their messed up romance, and also her trying to save him from using drugs. And again, that can be triggering for some people, so check your trigger warnings again. But yeah, but Joa starts kind of being pretty mean to her, and I'm not really vibing with that. But besides that, I know, like, if you have drug problems, you're not going to be of sound mind all the time, but he tells her, like, to fuck off and, like, fuck you, and I don't know, I'm not really feeling that, because I feel like BJ didn't really do that to Magnolia. He kind of let her take care of him. That's the only thing I'm not feeling. But other than that, I'm enjoying it. It's like just about the pressures of being famous and how you're able to even keep up with a relationship in the public eye. So I really like, there's this one part where it says, they're just like you, like, I really hate that like pedestal we put celebrities on, because it's more like it's not for everyone. Because, like I've said before, like, or maybe I've never said this before, but you have to give up a lot of your private life to be a celebrity or to be famous. So it really isn't for everyone, and they're not just like you, because you constantly, yes, we're all human, but it's not, it's really a big sacrifice on their part. So, but they chose that life, or they just got famous overnight. So yeah, that's it. I'm gonna go because I'm super tired. So I will check in when I finish this book. I'm also 75% into Three Shattered Souls by May Corlin, but I don't even feel like covering that right now. I will just check in at the end because, again, I'm just too tired. But yeah, well, I think I'm like 72% in, so I should be able to finish that within the next couple of days, because I've just been listening to it. Even though the ebook became available yesterday, I've just been really enjoying listening to it. So yeah, that's it. Bye. Okay, so hey there. So I finished Time of Your Life by Jessa Hastings. I don't know why I said that so weird. Every time I say it differently, I'm like, why am I being weirdo? But I finished it last night around like 12:30-ish, and I just finished the audiobook actually, because I hadn't listened to the audiobook at any other point besides last night when I was getting ready for bed. Because I just didn't feel like reading it physically anymore. and it only took me like 40 minutes to finish it. So, I was on page like 286 or something physically, so then I only had like another 35 pages left. So I'm like, I'm just gonna listen to the rest of it. And the narrator's really good. I think the narrator's the same narrator as Magnolia Parks, like for Magnolia. I think the male is a little different. I'm not really sure, unless she uses the same two narrators like Chloe Walsh does for Boys of Tommen. But I liked this book. It was good. I'm giving it a 4-star. Same thing about same rating as The Enchanted Greenhouse. I haven't had a 5-star in a little while, actually. The last 5-star read that I had was The Compound by Aisel. What's her name? Oh my god, I'm blanking on her name. 5-star read, and I can't remember the name of the author. Oops. But that was like back in like mid-July or something, so it hasn't been that long. But I liked this book, but like I said, Aisling Roll, sorry, I was way off. But I was hoping one of these new releases would be a 5-star, but I don't know. It was just like I said, it was a little bit too similar to Magnolia Parks, but I really think Isolde is one of my favorite characters. I think I liked her even more than the main character in The Conditions of Will. I really liked her, but Isolde just, I felt like so, she felt like such a real and raw character. Just didn't really deserve the shit that Joa was giving her. And honestly, again, really didn't love the way that he treated her, especially towards the end. I was like, girl, you deserve better. Like, so it ends with her meeting this new guy, and he's like so sweet to her. He's like this American guy, and he just like says to her at the end, this is not a spoiler because like I kind of feel like it's again a little bit similar to Magnolia and BJ, where they shouldn't be together, but you know, then they're probably gonna come back together anyway. And he says at the end, he's like, beautiful isn't even a compliment to you, so I don't know what to say. I'm so nervous because you already know you're beautiful. And I don't know, I just thought it was really cute, and I just really, really like him, and I think it's probably going to be good for her. So I guess we'll find out what happens in the second book. But yeah, this is going to be a series. But again, I'm not really sure like how she's going to differentiate these books to like Magnolia Parks, because again, we're not sure like if is it Harry Parks? Time of your, they connect with Magnolia Parks. I'm sure it's not going to be on the fucking internet. So let's see if it says anything about Magnolia Parks connections or Time of Your Life. Time of Your Life, Magnolia Parks. Yeah, she's also working on another new book. Oh, it's there's more than 2 books. Okay. So when it comes to who knows when she's even going to write the next oh, okay. The next Daisy Hates, but honestly for me, I don't really care because like I said, pretty much Magnolia Parks ended when the last Magnolia Parks book was written. Parks Connections? And blah blah blah. Well, Okay, I have to watch it on TikTok, I think. Okay, so anyway, yeah, that's all I really have to say about it. They get into like this big fight at the end, you know, like he punches his brother because he gets really jealous of her being friends with his brother, probably because he thinks that they're going to start something together, but they never do. And they both end up cheating on each other. Well, not really cheating on each other because they break up. So, yeah, um, it was okay. I'm still giving it a 4 star though, because I still really enjoy Jessa Hastings' writing. So, even though it's like a little bit repetitive of Magnolia Parks, I still really enjoyed it. So, but I wasn't able to start Wrath of the Dragons today because it didn't come out today, unfortunately, on my one day off before I start training in the store tomorrow. Sorry. Why didn't my Siri go off? Please be quiet, girl. Thank you. I didn't find it early today in Barnes. I did ask one of the girls that usually helps me a lot, and she was like, "Hey, what's up? How are you?" And I'm like, "Hey, I was wondering if you had this early." And she's like, "I will check for you, girl." So, but she was like, "I'm sorry, but it's on strict release, so we're not gonna have it out until tomorrow on release day." I'm like, "Don't worry about it." She's like, "I'm so sorry though." I'm like, "It's okay. Like, you obviously need to follow the rules of the publisher. Like, I'm not gonna be like, oh yeah, like can you just bring it out for me, you know, and get fired?" So no. I just really appreciate her even checking. Um, because some of the employees are like, you know, we're actually not supposed to do that at all, but sometimes they do. Because sometimes there's just certain publishers that don't let their books be out the day before, but sometimes they put books out early to see how they're going to sell before they actually put them out. But that's what I think. I mean, I could be full of shit, but I think I think that's pretty accurate. Or like sometimes release dates will change. Like when the Hollow Hunt came out, it was out on its original release date when it didn't come out until like the 28th or the 29th, when I think originally it was supposed to come out the 23rd of March. And then I saw it out on the 23rd. And then when I got rung up and I told the salesperson, I'm like, this book wasn't supposed to be out till the 29th. Did they put it out on the original release day? And she's like, she checked and she was like, oh yeah, like it was supposed to come out the 23rd because I think it was in the computer or something. So she was like, I think they just mistakenly put it out today on the original release day. I'm like, well, I'm not complaining because I'm still buying it. So anyway, so I'm not gonna be able to start it until tomorrow night, but I did start reading a new book today, and I think I told you guys that I was gonna read Nightshade by Autumn Woods because I obviously needed something else to start, and this is just a complete mood read for the end of the month because I just need, like I said, since I'm going to be training, I'm not going to have that much time to read, so I just need super bingeable, fun books, and I'm so hooked on this book, you guys. I'm on 233 already. 232, excuse me. And I started this today. So I read a lot of this today. I listened to a couple chapters, but I read probably like over 150 pages of this physically today because I read like 50 pages at home, then I read like 50 pages at Barnes, and then I read another like 50 or something pages at home. So it was just like breaking it up 50 pages each, and then I listened to a couple chapters. So, and so far this is so good. I'm not going to cover what it's about in this video because it's not about this, but I was going to wait and start reading this like the first week of August, but like I said, if Wrath of the Dragons came out today, I would have read that, but since it didn't, I wanted to start the next read that I was really excited for. I mean, obviously I still have a couple books on my July TBR that I didn't get to, but it's only 4. It's only 4. Well, actually 5, but still, like I said, sometimes I roll over those books into the next month and then I end up completing that whole month's TBR. I did that with May into June. I'm probably going to do that July into August. So, yeah, I haven't even filmed my August TBR yet, though. I wanted to film it today, but I was like, if I film and sit down and film this video right now, I'm going to be so tired tomorrow. So I just didn't, because I'm like, I'm just too tired. I wanted to relax, and I read at Barnes for like an hour, and then I came home, read some more for another like hour and a half, and then had dinner, and then watched TV with my mom and my brother, and then my mom and I watched the second part of the Billy Joel documentary, because if you didn't know, me and my mom are diehard Billy Joel fans. I grew up in Long Island, so he is the king of Long Island, so we have a legend from Long Island, so yeah. So anyway, that's it. I'm gonna go, and I will tell you guys when I start Wrath of the Dragons. I'm not sure if I'm gonna start it tomorrow night. I probably will, but I might just finish this book because my brain might be too fried from Apple. And I don't know if I want to start a new book tomorrow, but also I'm gonna have to read Wrath of the Dragons Tuesday night into Wednesday afternoon, because I'm not gonna have time to read it Thursday. So hopefully I can finish this book, but I'm really hoping to finish this book Tuesday night. So we'll see how much more I read of it tonight, and then I'll let you guys know. So bye. Okay, so hey there guys. I wanted to give you guys an update that I started Wrath of the Dragons by Olivia Rose Darling. I started it last night. I love this already. It's so freaking good, you guys. I'm just so happy to be back in this world. Sometimes you get a little bit nervous about like your highly anticipated reads, like sequels that have come out this year. We've gotten 3 huge releases that came out this year, which I've said this so many times already, but we got Onyx Storm by Rebecca Yarros, we got Sunrise on the Reaping by Suzanne Collins, and we got Fearless by Lauren Roberts, and I think those 3 books have been the biggest books of the entire year. And then, of course, Brimstone comes out in November, which is the follow-up to Quicksilver by Callie Hart. But this I was so excited for, you guys, because I absolutely loved Fear the Flames last year. That was one of my top romantasy books of last year. It was one of my top favorite reads by the end of the year, because I read it towards the end of December, and oh my god, it was so good. And I'm loving this. This is just so fun. And I'm on page 96. And I don't know, I'm just like smiling every 5 seconds at this book. And it's just, I really just love her writing. I think their banter is so fucking funny. They're not really enemies. They're just like bickering, and it makes me laugh so hard. And like their nicknames for each other. So it's about Kaylin. I'm like melting their 2 names together, meshing their 2 names together. Can I speak? Elowen and Caden. And just look at this cover, you guys. It isn't so pretty. And this is a brick. It's 500 pages. So this one is substantially longer than Fear the Flames. And I'm feeling the reason why it is because a lot of people had complaints about the traditionally published version of Fear the Flames. Because people were saying, and this did happen, it wasn't just because people were saying this. Let me put this book down because I can't hold it up the whole time. It's too heavy. That a lot got cut out of the original indie version for the traditionally published version, but I ate that book up. I loved it. I gave it a 5 stars, and I have a feeling this is going to be a 5-star too. I feel like this is exactly what I needed right now. I just needed a fun, fast-paced romantasy, and I just love her character building, and I just love Caden and Elowen's relationship so much. I think they're so funny together. So basically, they start off kind of rivals, but they're also betrothed to be, well, they're supposed to be married. And, I think he was betrothed to somebody else in the last book. I need to look up, a brief background again of the last book, because, stuff is a little foggy because I read it in December. And basically, Elowen now has to rule over her kingdom, and she's a very humble ruler. She likes to help her subjects. And also, literally what I love about Olivia Rose Darling's dragons is that she doesn't make us wait like a million years for us to have an appearance from the dragons again. It's literally on the 5th page of the book that she's already talking about her dragons. And that's what I really love, is that I really hate that most books that have dragons in them barely have dragons in them, and it's such a build up for the dragons to appear, then I'm just like, can we see some dragons already? Like, and I just love that that was already established in the first book, that it's like the dragons are here, they're ready, they're ready to be seen. So basically it's like her navigation of you know, controlling her dragons, but also like caring for them and being there for these monsters, because they are monsters, but she also wants to make them, you know, her own. But yeah, that's basically what's happening right now. And there's also like a build up to, I think a battle is going to happen towards the end of this book, because, you know, the swords are right on the front, and I'm so excited to see if there's like a big battle. I'm hoping there is, because I just need a good romantasy book that has a huge battle. Okay, I feel like that doesn't really happen in romantasy books as often. There was quite a bit of battles in Ember in the Ashes, but I feel like Sabaa Tahir's writing is so fast-paced that sometimes you kind of miss it. I still love her writing, though. But with this, I'm so happy. I'm so happy to be back in this world, and I'm loving this. I have a feeling this is going to be a 5-star read, because I actually haven't had a 5-star since The Compound. So like I said, I've been in kind of like a 5-star rut right now. Because I think it's been like 3 weeks since my last 5-star. And also, I wanted to give you guys an update on where I'm at in Three Shattered Souls by May Corlin. So I'm pretty much almost 80% of the way through. I'm on 79%. I still have 3 hours left of this book. But you guys, I'm kind of feeling like the same way as the second book. Even though I felt like this book started off stronger, I feel like there's not... I feel like this started off stronger than the second book. Not that the second book started off stronger, because I really didn't like that book. But I just feel like with May Corlin's character development, there's no progression in the characters. Like, we're barely even getting any romance in this one. Like, yes, they're kissing, but like, we're not getting any like closed door kind of scenes like we did in the first and second book, to be honest. But also, like, there's just such a slow drag of build up in these books that it's like I end up not really caring that much, and like we're still waiting for the big battle to happen, and we're pretty much 80% of the way through. I'm like, when is this gonna happen? Like, this build up is kind of annoying me, because like that's literally like all we have to look forward to in this book. And it's like, and I feel like she just wastes too much time with things that could be cut down a little bit, you know? Like, we don't need like 10 million character build-ups to end up nowhere. It's just like, that's like my problem with this series, is that it's kind of losing me, because at least I'll be done with it after this, but it's like, it's not like a favorite series of mine, because it doesn't really stand out, because I'm just finding myself not really caring that much anymore about how it ends. It's like there's no like tension or like build up. I mean, there's build up, but there's no like tension for the build up, if you get what I'm saying. So yeah, anyway, that's about it. I don't really have anything else to say about it, because I really have been zoning out a little bit towards the end, because I'm like, okay, I just need this book to be over. But I don't know, it's a little disappointing, because, you know, I want to like these books. The first one is my favorite. I thought the first one was so much fun and so high stakes, that the second and the third have just been kind of a letdown. So, yeah. Anyway, at least the first book was great, you know? So I will check in with you guys when I'm further into Wrath of the Dragons and when I finish Three Shattered Souls. So bye. Oh, I don't think I'm going to have time to read Rose in Chains right now in this video. But there are 2 new July releases that I really want to read well, Rose in Chains is one of them, but also there's another one called Neverthorn, and I downloaded that on my Kindle, because it's on Kindle Unlimited. And I found out about that book because of Jody Reads, or Jody's Books. She's like a huge, well, she's not like the biggest YouTuber, but she has the most beautiful special edition book collection you've ever seen in your life. Her book collection is immaculate, like so beautiful. And she talked about this book in her recent book haul, and I was like, for some reason, I thought that the book was gorgeous, first off, and also I was just so intrigued by the plot that I really think I'm going to read this on my Kindle throughout the next few days if I can't read Wrath of the Dragons, because I'm not going to be able to really read this in bed because it's a freaking brick, and also I forgot to place a hold for it on the library app because, I mean, on Libby, on the library app. Why am I saying it like that? But let me rhyme again. Because I was at work yesterday until 6 o'clock, so my Apple training was 9 to 6 yesterday, so I did put this on hold at work yesterday, though, because we didn't start training yet. I just went in the bathroom and called Barnes & Noble. I'm like, hey, can I put this book on hold? I'm going to pick it up later. And when I came to the store, they only had 2 more copies left on the shelf. So I'm thinking they only got like 4 copies of this to display. So I'm like, I'm glad that I picked this one up, because when I picked this up, the guy that normally helps me at the cash wrap, he said that he had just sold this book to somebody right before me. So I was like, thank God that I put it on hold. So yeah, I would have been pissed if I wasn't going to be able to get this book, because I'm like, I have to read it as soon as I get home. But I actually didn't end up going home immediately after, because my book bestie Felicia wanted to hang out with me, because she's going away next week. She goes on trips all the time, but next week she's going away for a week. So I'm like, I'm not going to be able to see you and talk about books. So we ended up meeting at Barnes, and I told her I wanted to pick up this, obviously, after work. And then, we went out to dinner. So anyway, why am I blabbing? So it's called Neverthorn by Shannon Mayer, and it just sounded like such a cool book. I don't know if I'm going to include it in this video. I mean, it is a July release. I didn't even know about it until Jody talked about it, but I'll see how long these clips are by the end of Wrath of the Dragons, and I'll see if I include another book. I haven't even posted anything in like a couple days because I just haven't had any time. So yeah, that's it. Bye. Hey you guys. So we finished Wrath of the Dragons by Olivia Rose Darling. I said that I was going to make another check-in reading this book, but I literally devoured this because, of course, this was 5 stars. I loved this book. I loved it from beginning to end. It did not feel like it was 500 pages because I actually haven't read like a... Well, I'm lying because Ember in the Ashes was amazing. But this is just so much better than 3 Shattered Souls because they both have this build up to like big battles at the end, and that did happen in this book. But I care so much more about the characters in this book than I do in 3 Shattered Souls. Because even though we have like multiple POVs and multiple characters happening and multiple storylines happening in 3 Shattered Souls, there's just, like I said, no really well thought out plot lines and cohesiveness to their stories. But this was so good, you guys. This was, of course, my favorite book in this video. I mean, come on. So now I'm just going to finish 3 Shattered Souls and then we'll be done. But I don't think I'm going to have time to read Rose in Chains in this video because there's a couple of other new releases that are coming out the first week of August that I'm 100% reading as soon as they come out. I mean, there's only 2, so, which is the 4th book in the Crowns of Nexia series, Fallen and the Kiss of Dusk, which is the 2nd book in the Shadowborn duet. You do have to read those books in order. Oh, loonies. I always push my door open, you silly goose. She always pushes the door open with her nose, and she goes like this, so then like it sounds like I'm talking to myself when the door's open. My mom's in the next room. But so anyway, I loved this. I cried quite a bit at the end because, and this left off on a massive cliffhanger. So now I think that this series is so underrated because if you're looking for like Fourth Wing vibes, but I think that this series like stands on its own because there's no trials in this. It's like very different from like the other romantasy series that are coming out lately. There's 99% of the time trials going on. And even though I eat up trials every single time myself, I know some people think it's pretty repetitive, and honestly, I'm feeling a little bit that way as well. But again, I eat it up. But I just feel like this is unique. It stands on its own, and it's just so freaking good. I mean, yes, there might be some cliche tropes that happen in this, but I just love Eowyn and Caden's romance and their relationship. Not just in like a, sorry if this is TMI, but it is romantic, not a sexual kind of way, even though I love those parts of the book as well. Just their banter, like I said, is pure perfection, because it's not just like those cliche one-liners, like cheesy one-liners. It's just like, it feels like such a real connection between the two of them, not just in a romantic way, but in like a friendship kind of way, that when they're around their friends or if they're just like making fun of each other, it's just so fucking funny because it just feels so real and down to earth. And you don't really get those characters as much in romances as you do in like romance kind of books, or, you know, other genres like, you know, general fiction and stuff like that. So that's what I feel like sets their romance and their chemistry apart from other romantic couples. And I just love them. I eat them up. I absolutely love Caden. I loved him in the first book, and I'm so glad that we got more. We got a lot more of his POV in this book, but also like the last like 4 chapters is all from Caden's POV. And I really enjoyed that, because usually the romantic books concentrate a lot more on the female main character, and yes, that's very important, you know, female empowerment and everything, but I really do love that Caden is just so down bad for her. He's just so obsessed with her, but in like this way that there was even like this part in the last like 50 pages of the book that I thought would make me feel uncomfortable, but honestly, the way that Olivia Rose Darling wrote it was just so beautifully written that all you can do is cry reading it. Because it's a very intimate scene, not a sexual kind of scene, but like a very intimate scene for Caden's love for Eowyn is just like unmatched. And he's just absolutely and completely devoted to her. But like, I think the reason why you feel so deeply for him is because he's had that relatability, especially in this second book where we get a lot more of Caden. And I really appreciated that this was dual POV, because like I could not wait to read about Caden's POV in this. I can't remember if the first book was dual POV. I don't think it was. I have to double check because I read it back in November, but I have rated both books in this series 5 stars, and I really haven't done that with any other series besides ACOTAR, Fourth Wing, and Boys of Tommen. But Fourth Wing, what's the other one? Boys of Tommen and Beartown are the only book series that I've rated every single book 5 stars. So I don't know if this is gonna be as well, because now I have extremely high expectations for when the third book comes out, because the first 2 books in this series were 5 stars. So I literally cannot wait till the third book comes out. This book was amazing. What a way to end July. I mean, I didn't finish it until August 1st, because today's August 1st. I just finished it like an hour ago, not even an hour ago, and I'm in a little bit of a book hangover right now because I was crying so much at the end. It was just so freaking good. So you can tell I loved it. So I devoured it, and this was already the first book that I finished in August. So I was hoping to finish it last night, but there was no way. I was too tired. I got up to like 4:35 or something last night, and then I listened to a couple chapters this morning, and then I read like 15 pages this morning, or like almost 20 pages. And then I listened to another chapter while I was like washing my face. And then I just finished like the last like 35 pages physically. So I think I read a decent amount of this. I think over 200 pages. But I did listen to a lot of it as well. I read like 45 pages of it last night because I didn't have that much time to physically read it yesterday because I didn't get home till like 9:30 from Apple training. But I did listen to a decent amount of it before that. I think I was on page like 365 already, and then I got up to page like 405 last night. And then I listened to it some more, like showering and everything, and then listened to it some more this morning. And then I just finished it physically. So I think I read maybe not even 200 pages, but still, the audiobook was so good. But, you know, I read a decent amount of it physically, but it is a heavy book to put on my stomach in bed. So it's not the greatest when it's like, you know, weighing on your stomach. But anyway, I'm going to finish Three Shattered Souls hopefully soon. I just like am not looking forward to it. And there's like another book I want to listen to right now. Also, I'm wearing long sleeves because it's pretty cold today and I'm going out for my friend's birthday. And we're going to like this beach bar, so I don't know. It's kind of cool today though, but I think it's still gonna be a good time. But I gotta get ready because I have to pick her up at 4 and it's like 3 o'clock right now. So yeah, that's it. Bye. Okay, so hey there, guys. So we finished all the books that I wanted to read in this video. Ended up reading 5, like I said. I feel like Rose and Chains would have been too many. That would have been 6. That would have been a lot. I'm pretty sure I read 5. So I just finished Three Shattered Souls. Like, just finished it now. Like, 20 minutes ago by May Corland. I just didn't love this book series. I still think that the first book was the strongest. Like, pretty much my thoughts didn't change from before. But I do think that this book was better than the second one. The second one was one of the worst sequels that I read this year. I just thought it was so fucking boring. It just dragged. And I feel like with this one, again, it's just a pacing issue. Like, everything drags so much. And it's just like, I'm waiting for the battle. I'm waiting for the battle. I'm waiting for the battle. Like I said, the battle didn't even happen until like 88% of the way through. And at that point, I had already lost interest in the plot. And yes, some characters died at the end, and so many people are like, you know, so shattered. And, you know, if it's your favorite series, that's fine. But, like, I just don't think it was for me. Like, I still think that the first book was the strongest in the entire series. But I feel like the second and the third dropped off so much about, like, the adventure part or, like, the action parts. Like, books 2 and 3 just dragged so much, especially book 2. Book 3, not as much, but I still felt like there was like no build up. Maybe it's just because I was tuning out a little bit after I kind of lost interest, like 50% of the way through. Like, I was listening to most of this book pretty genuinely because, again, I thought there was some very funny parts in it. So I didn't think it was as boring as the second one. So I'm giving it a 3.5 out of 5. So, not terrible. Just okay. I think it was kind of a very anticlimactic ending to this series. I do think originally this was supposed to be 5 books. Because everybody thought it was going to go down to like one something left, because we thought after Three Shattered Souls we were going to get 2 and then we were going to get 1. So because we started out with 5 Broken Blades, but 5 Broken Blades by far was the best book in the series because it felt like epic fantasy, like building up to what happened with the king, and it was just so good. So that's why I thought I was going to enjoy the rest of the series, but it just dropped off after that. So I don't really have anything else to say about it. So we're just going to rank the books that we read, that I read in this video. So, number 5 to 1, because we read 5 books, like I said, because I'm the only one who read them. You didn't read them. Unless you have read them at this point, let me know. So number 5, obviously, is Three Shattered Souls by May Corlin. I already explained why I didn't love this book. But, you know, it wasn't horrible, and I wanted to finish the series. But I don't think I'm going to continue with it, because there's supposed to be a spin-off book that comes out next May. I just looked it up, and I was like, I felt like, I knew it was coming out like a couple weeks ago. I saw the announced title of it a couple weeks ago. She usually announces her titles like right after the new release comes out, but that's what most authors do anyway. Where the fuck is my phone? I just had my damn phone. Where did it go? I don't remember what it's called. Oh my god, it's right here, you dumbass. It was on the other side. I usually keep it on this side of me, and I kept it on that side. It's okay, I'm an idiot. Okay. An idiot. Fucking Trump, man. I swear to God, he's such a moron. Why am I on AOL? I want to be on Goodreads. So the next book, because again, it's supposed to be a spin-off series, is called Verity Guild, and it comes out May 5th next year, 2026. I don't really know if I'm even going to be interested in reading it. I feel like the synopsises of these books sound a lot better than the actual books are. I don't know. I just didn't really care about the characters anymore at like 75% of the way through, and then it just took me like 2.5 weeks to finish this, which is like a typical time it takes me if I'm just going to be listening to the audiobook of a book rather than reading it physically and also listening to it when I can't physically read the book. So anyway, number 5 was Three Shattered Souls. Number 4, I'm kind of torn as to which one I want to put at number 4 or number 3, because I gave both books 4 stars. I just don't know which one I liked more than the other one. I think I'm going to say Enchanted Greenhouse at number 4. Like 4 to 1 I would recommend 100%. I really, really enjoyed the rest of the books that I read in this video. And actually none of the books were bad. Like Three Shattered Souls was not a bad book. I still would recommend all of these books if that's your style. If you like more slow burn fantasy, I think you would really like this series. So number 4, I think I'm going to put The Enchanted Greenhouse, just because I didn't love it as much as the first one, which was The Spell Shop. It was still super cute. Still recommend. Gave it 4 stars. Such a cute, cozy fantasy, and I loved their romance. I just didn't really love the plot as much as the first book. I think I said this like 50 million times. I also ended up returning the book because I just felt like I didn't need to keep it. And I actually just lent The Spell Shop to one of my friends because she really, really wanted to read it. So, like, here you go, girl. Okay, and then number 3, I think I'm going to put Time of Your Life by Jessa Hastings, because gave it the same rating, 4 stars. I really do enjoy Jessa Hastings' writing. All these authors are authors that I've read from before, actually, in this video. They're all authors I read from before, because May Corlin, I read 5 Broken Blades and 4 Ruined Realms, which is the whole 5 Broken Blades series, or Broken Blades series. Enchanted Greenhouse, I read Sarah Beth Durst. I read The Spell Shop, obviously, and then The Enchanted Greenhouse. And then number 3, Jessa Hastings, Time of Your Life. I, of course, have read the entire Magnolia Park series. And I read The Conditions of Will that she came out with in April of this year. So I can't believe she had 2 new releases this year. But everybody still be wanting the continuation of Magnolia Parks. But honestly, for me, like I said, it kind of ended with Into the Dark for me. Because the series is called Magnolia Parks. Why are we getting 2 more Daisy Hates books? Make it make sense. But I feel like I know she knows what she's doing. So I'm still going to continue the series when the next book comes out. Who knows when. Time of Your Life was really good. I'm getting really tired. I need to wrap up this video because it's like 2:45 in the morning and I want to watch some YouTube before I have to work all day tomorrow. But I have to be up till 10, a little bit after 10. So At least I didn't have to be up at 7:55 because I would have been dead. And then number 2 is Not Quite Dead Yet by Holly Jackson. Gave it a 4.5. Such a good fucking book, you guys. Love Holly Jackson's writing. She's just one of the best mystery thriller YA authors out there. She's just, her writing is just so freaking good. I loved this book, but damn. This was the most painful book that I read in this video, and one of the most painful books that I've read in a while. I mean, not as devastating as Releasing 10, but it was one of the saddest books that I've read, and probably the saddest book that I read in July. And then number 1, of course, is Wrath of the Dragons by Olivia Rose Darling. You guys know I love this freaking series, you guys. And I did shed some tears towards the end. And I'm literally sitting on bated breath waiting for book 3. And I know we're not going to get book 3 for quite a while because this literally just came out not even 2 weeks ago. I think it came out the 27th. So I think it came out like 10 days ago. But I loved this book. This was definitely my favorite book that I've read in August already. But also one of my favorite books I've read the past like month or so. And I was a little nervous that I wasn't going to love it as much as the first one. But then as soon as I got halfway through this book, I'm like, this is a 5-star read. Because I was smiling literally the entire time reading this book. And then I got sad. And then it's like, I literally cannot wait for the next book. So sad with that cliffhanger ending. I cannot wait. If you love Fourth Wing, you need to read this series. It's so good. And it's so underrated. It's actually number 10 on the New York Times bestseller list. So I'm glad. Actually, it's not that underrated now. Because I think a lot of people were waiting for it after Fear the Flames. And I think I might even love it more than the first book because it was longer and I feel like she listened to her readers that they made this book 500 pages as opposed to the first book, which was like 370 or something. So, love both. Highly recommend. Okay, that's it. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I did not realize it was 5 books. So, yeah, if we read Rose in Chains, it would have been way too long of a video. So, I think I'm going to read that at some point later this month. So please like and subscribe. Follow me on my Instagram at CBW819 and check out my Goodreads and my TikTok in the links below. And I hope you guys enjoyed this video and keep reading. Bye.